Biscuits, it's Cupcake Kamisama back here with another 10-day Lolita challenge video. Today we're going to deal with prompt number 4, which is first and latest comparison of an outfit that you've done. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, there aren't that many photographs of my very first co-ords, and let's be honest here, they weren't even co-ords. I will admit to this in public on camera, I would throw a dress on, I'd have a petticoat on, fortunately, but that's it. That don't make a co-ord, let's be honest, let's be real with each other here. So there aren't any photographs, at least not like full body shots, of me doing that in the past. However, I have picked out 4 dresses and subsequently 8 coordinates, 2 for each, to show you today. Comparison number 1 is Angelic Pretty's Crystal Dream Carnival, the tiered JSK. The first time I wore this, luckily I had just about acquired enough pieces to actually make a coordinate. When I wore this, it was supposed to be my first meet, that was December 2015. However, the meet organizer had to cancel last minute, and kind of luckily for me, I was going to go to a burlesque show in Leeds that same night, so I still got to wear the outfit. Now, when you look at it, it's not the most exciting co-ord, but it's not cringeworthy either. It's fairly solid, and given that I only had a handful of pieces back then, it was there. Yes, the shoes don't really match that well, and it needs a hair accessory, but the rest of it is there. Yes, like I said, not the most unique or exciting of co-ords, but it was there. It ticked almost all the boxes, and given that at that point I had literally had only that blouse as far as proper Lolita blouses are concerned. I had a couple of Access Fan ones. It's not the worst you could have done. It's not eaten by any stretch of imagination. However, then we look at the last time I wore Crystal Dream Carnival, which was September 2017. Now, I wanted to try out something slightly different, as well as slightly more casual. By which I mean, I paired this dress with lavender accessories and pieces, which, truth be told, would have come across a lot better if I hadn't worn the cardigan that covered my lavender cutso underneath. And I wasn't trying to go for anything over the top, it was just a relaxed meet, so nothing too outrageous. I took off most of the detachable, I took off all of the detachable pieces that are on that dress, and I'm still quite happy with that outfit. It was really fun to wear. It helped me realise that this really dressy JSK, quite OTT, can be more relaxed, can be more casual. It just needs the right pieces there. Comparison number 2 is Angelic Pretty's Fantasy Theatre Gillet JSK. Now, this is where you see the very early beginnings of my Lolita journey, because that was July 2014. So by that point, I had kind of gathered that you need a tiny bit more than just a dress, but yet they didn't have any pieces other than dresses and a petticoat. I did get the shoes specifically for that coordinate. I had a couple of shoes, and I kind of gathered something on your hair might be necessary. But let's face it, as much as you want to excuse it, as much as I want to excuse it, as this was in Japan, it was July, it was ridiculously hot. Why would you wear a blouse? Why would you wear thick socks or anything? I had nylon tights on. That's not the reason why I didn't have them. The main reason was I still thought I knew you needed a blouse, but at that point I didn't know what kind of blouse would work with a halter neck cut JSK. So I just thought, well, it's a halter. Halters are meant to be worn bareback. And nylon tights, just because I didn't want chub rub. And yet, even though it's obviously not quite there, some of the elements are there, but it's missing a lot to make it proper. Hopefully it's not the most painful to look at. At least the pieces that are there work together, and if you were to be really kind, you could probably excuse this as a circus themed Ero Lolita. But let's be real with each other here. There's no need to be this kind, because you and I both know this was just me deciding, let's put on a dress and all it needs is a hat and shoes and petticoats. Actually, the best way to put it was I was still styling Lolita as I would rockabilly, because that's where it all came from. I had a good grasp on rockabilly and 1950s fashion, and because that's kind of the route that I came into Lolita, it was still really influencing how I wore it. Fast forward to August 2017. We're in London. It's Dream Masquerade Carnival and it's the tea party, and I had worn this dress again. I look at this and I think of this coordinate as very me, in the sense that we have a sweet print but styled in a more classic kind of way. There's blue, we're pairing a dress with blue, not just blue, it's sax blue. There's a bonnet, it's not just a bonnet, it's my favourite bonnet. And yes, we're playing with the idea of styling a sweet print in a more classic, elegant kind of way. And in a sense, it's very dreamy, and because of that colour palette, it makes you think of, you know, it's like a distant memory that you blink and you forget about it. Or it's just very light. I still really like it. Do I think it's the ultimate coordinate for that dress? No, I don't think that dress reached its peak form yet. However, it is a particular favourite of mine, and even though I haven't worn Fantasy Theatre since Dream Masquerade Carnival Tea Party, every time I think, oh, I should probably wear that, I end up thinking of that outfit again and being like, well, what's new to bring out in this? I'm sure I'll get one. It's just I need to find the right moment, find the inspiration, bring it out in that dress, and then it'll happen. Comparison number 3. It's Bodyline Sweet Macaron dress. Now, this is the second Lolita dress I ever bought, and I still own it. So technically it does fall into the category of I've worn this before with just that on and a petticoat and like rockabilly 1950s kind of shoes, and that's it. However, no pictures from that era survive, and the earliest actual coordinate picture that I have is from January 2016. If you look at this outfit and then at the first outfit I did with Crystal Dream Carnival, you'll notice that it's using pretty much the same pieces. It's because, again, there's only a month between those two coordinates, so that was the only thing that I had. Those were my basics, this is what I had to play with. So, it's an alright coordinate. I think, is there a hair accessory there? I think I had like some bows in my braid, and yeah, it's very plain, but it's not painful to look at, and it just reflects the position my wardrobe was in at that time. I genuinely didn't have a lot in terms of builder pieces, so I could only make the very basic coordinates. And then we move to the last time I wore this, which was only a couple of months ago, as in April 2018. and I wore this out on a meet in York. Now, between that first coordinate and this one I'm talking about now, I had realised that this dress is actually quite short, by which I mean it's a bit shorter than Lolita dresses should be. I've tried dealing with that with an underskirt, but it's not quite working out as I'd like it to, not with that dress, which is what had stopped me from trying to wear it out more. It's a cute dress, and when I look at that print again, I feel like this embodies my style because it's a sweet dress, but there are classic elements in there. The elements of both merging into one thing. So because I love this print so much, I want to wear it out more often. And this last time I found out that putting tights is probably the most comfortable way of keeping that length in check. I really like that outfit. It's something that I wouldn't wear a year ago because of how much pink is in there, but which I really like. And what I really like about this whole outfit is there is only one piece of brand in there, which are the socks. So it just goes to show that how important builder pieces are in Lolita fashion, but also that you don't necessarily have to get them from Japanese brands to make a nice coordinate. It's as much about finding things that work and finding cuts and detail and accessorizing as it is about where your pieces are from. Which is mostly why, it's painful to say, but it's mostly why a lot of early beginner bodyline coordinates are just a bit meh. And you've got an example right there, this first one. It's a very typical bodyline. It's alright, but it doesn't excite me. But if you have those pieces and have the coordinating skills to bring those themes and the depth of detail into it, you can make bodyline look really nice. So PSA, do not skimp on accessories and get those builder pieces there, because they'll make your outfits far more creative and nice to look at, and you'll look back at them and think, I'm actually quite proud of that. Lastly, it's comparison number 4. Metamorphosis Metas showing tiered ribbon JSK. I was actually going to use a different dress for this last comparison, however I realised that since then I've worn that dress another time and the latest one isn't as nice as the one before that, so sue me. So the first time I've worn that dress out was August 2016, which, truth be told, wasn't long after I actually bought that dress. Now at that point I already had quite a fair few pieces in my wardrobe to play with, but this dress made me realise the struggle of matching colours, because again, this is Saks blue, which turned out more powder blue. My shoes were more mint blue, and my headbow was probably what actual Saks is meant to be like, which is like sky blue. It was a nightmare to try and match. Whilst I remember that I originally had a slightly different idea for this, I think I wanted to wear some OTKs, I realised they don't match either, so it ended up being this. Now, again, not the most exciting outfit, but it did the job, and to be fair, it was quite warm. Even though it was an evening meet, it was pretty warm then, so having a cotton blouse and ankle socks and a cotton dress meant that I didn't cook in my coordinates. So whilst there's obvious room for improvement there, I'm not mad at this outfit. It just did the job. And coincidentally, this is probably the closest I got to an old school Lolita coordinate. Both the dress and the blouse are from 2007, if I remember correctly. The only really really modern pieces there are the tea parties and the headbow, because ankle socks were still available, and I think in 2007. Obviously, had I had under the knee socks with lace on them and like a rectangle headdress and some platforms, it would have screamed old school at you, but it's not a bad attempt for someone who doesn't really do old school. And then we fast forward to December 2017, and again this is a more casual outfit. This is more laid back. I had worn this for a Christmas Carol concert at my local cathedral. So it wasn't even a meet out with my mum. We were enjoying Christmas carols in a cathedral. But this time it's a lot more me in terms of styling. This is something that I do. It's more classic leaning and things like this. As well as I'm finally making it more interesting by bringing in a new colour, this time wine. And look, if you follow the blog, you'll know that blue and red, whether it's pastel, whether it's true colours, whether it's jewel tones, I love that stuff. And because that dress is actually like this powder shade, it doesn't jar with the wine burgundy as much as a properly pastel Saks white. And what's even better is, as far as I remember correctly, I didn't wear a coat. I wore a jacket, which wasn't even a particularly thick winter jacket, but it was cold. However, with an outfit like that, I was able to put a cubic ton of layers and thermals underneath all this, so I still got to look cute on the outside, but was toasty on the inside. Best of both worlds. And that's it for the fourth prompt of the 10-day Lolita challenge. As always, if you are interested, I do encourage you all to have a go at this. You don't have to do it in video form, do it in whatever form pleases you, whether it's blog, whether it's Instagram, whether it's vlogs, whatever works for you. There's links to the challenge prompts and description and all this down below. Thank you so much for sticking through it. I hope you found this little look into the past interesting. This is definitely a prompt that normally I would have done as a blog, but because I've committed to doing videos, a video it is. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed yourself. As always, I encourage you to like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also, I have recently set up a coffee page where you can support me by buying me a coffee, metaphorically. It's a symbolic gesture, symbolic cost that will let me know that this is the kind of content that you're interested in without having to commit to any regular payments like you would with Patreon. And please do check out my blog, which is Cupcakes and Unicorns, where you'll find more Lolita content. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye!